Anthony Joshua claims he's had some type of meeting and wants to throw a curveball in Wilder Fury 3 trilogy fight, and he wants to sneak in and fight Wilder. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to ESPN Plus. Link in the description if you would like to sign up for ESPN Plus. You can get ESPN Plus in the description box. Some people get that and then later get the Disney Plus and all that. They have a bundle and it helps the channel. Now let's talk about it. Link in the description. Sky Sports. They have an interview with Joshua. It says Anthony Joshua reveals new negotiations to fight Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua insists a, quote, curveball offer could tempt Deontay Wilder into a dream undisputed heavyweight championship fight and has revealed he has held meetings how to set it up. WBC champion Wilder will face Tyson Fury February 22nd. Rematch, yada, yada, yada. Joshua will defend his newly gained titles against Kubrat Pulev or Alexander Usyk, whose representatives met last week for negotiations. All stuff we know. But Joshua's attention is already on Wilder, and he told Sky Sports News, quote, we've had meetings, the same meeting with Usyk's manager. Afterwards, we had another meeting to potentially put an offer in to solidify a fight with Deontay Wilder before they even had their fight and before I even have my next fight. Everyone wants Wilder to win because a fight with me is what everyone wants to see. Wilder has a great right hand and I have a great left hand. It is a great boxing match. We had a meeting about it. It has great potential. I heard Wilder and Fury have a third fight lined up towards the end of the year, but we have to throw a curveball in there. Something that gets Wilder's attention, providing he wins, so that he thinks to himself, even though I have my rematch clause, I'll see how I can manipulate my contract, get out of it, fight for the undisputed championship. Wilder and Fury fought to a draw 13 months ago, have already spoken about a third fight later this year. Joshua said about Fury, he bet on Charles Martin to beat me. He bet on Joseph Parker to beat me. He's a bit of a waffler. Fury does what Fury does. He says that he spoke to Conor McGregor on the phone. That was a lie as well. I'm supporting Fury because imagine the local kids being able to watch the undisputed championship fight on their doorstep. I'd love for that to be here in the UK. Joshua must fight and defend his mandatory, basically, Pulev or Usyk. The one that I don't fight, I will eventually fight. In the heavyweight division, everyone is welcome to challenge, so even if it doesn't happen first time, one of them will fight me in the future. We will end up fighting anyway. He's the best cruiserweight that we've ever seen, which I don't agree with. Evander Holyfield was better. And I want to compete with Usyk as he comes up to heavyweight. People say he's a cruiserweight, but look at Evander Holyfield did. Phenomenal fighter. Anyway, who's to say Usyk can't go on to do great things? Yada, yada, yada. Listen, the clout chasing is absolutely ridiculous with DAZN. I told you, it's so funny how my videos is like a profit. My videos tend to come to life. I just did earlier today, before this article was published, I did a live stream. If you guys caught it, I seen a lot of people, IC cursor, and I specifically said this same point. I see a lot of DAZN fighters just overall clout chasing. Like they have a certain thing, you know, Ryan Garcia is fighting Fonseca, but he's talking about Gervonta Tank Davis. All the questions are about Tank Davis. We know that this meeting was set up to discuss the parameters between Joshua fighting Usyk, you know, or he might fight Kubrat Pulev. So they're looking at like, oh, we might fight against Pulev and then fight you guys later. They're discussing these things. This is common knowledge, right? But now Joshua is clout chasing, doing an interview with Sky Sports UK media yet again, and he's proclaiming that he had some type of meeting. But guess what? Nothing in this article. See, the headlines is like, oh, Joshua has a meeting. This is what they're doing to try. The UK media, Joshua's team, and Sky Sports and Team Joshua and everybody must know full well that Joshua has lost a step. His profile took a major hit in the Ruiz fight, and now the tables have turned. All this stuff they said about Wilder, they said, oh, he doesn't deserve 50-50. Now Eddie Hearn's doing interviews. It's so funny how boxing works. Now Eddie Hearn's doing interviews and saying, hey, 50-50, that's not that bad. Maybe we'll do 50-50 now. Because Joshua looked horrible versus Ruiz, and even in the rematch with Ruiz, he did what he had to do, but it was far from electrifying. It wasn't the most electrifying show in the world. And for those reasons, his 2019, basically, his profile is taking a hit. Now Joshua is reduced. He's no longer has the same relevancy, especially in America. His American debut was disastrous, and then the method, let me change this picture. The method in which he won the belts back, it wasn't anything, like I said, spectacular. It was just, he did it. Andy Ruiz came in shitty shape, and it was what it was. And on top of that, he was hypocritical because he critiqued Tyson Fury and criticized him for running versus Klitschko. So now the tables have turned. Wilder's the star, like I've been telling you, and Joshua is clout chasing him. He's making it sound like he had a meeting with Deontay Wilder, because when I read the headline, I'm like, he had a meeting with Wilder. This is news to me, and you look in the article, the meeting never says we had a meeting with Team Wilder, Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman. They saying after we met with Usyk's people, we had a meeting to try to offer up something and, throw him some curveball. And Joshua, these maneuvers to try to stay relevant or make it look like you want the Wilder fight, at this point looks pathetic. Really does. It really and truly does, because all of 2018 and even before, Wilder was screaming your name when he needed somebody, a dance partner. Now he has history with Tyson Fury, the two major networks, ESPN and Fox, who have done a better job bringing boxing promotion, and really Fox and PBC, but whatever. But anyway, there's two big networks working on a fight. And Joshua, even though the world knows the game plan is to have a trilogy fight, Joshua believes that his team can lure Wilder out of a contract that it just doesn't sound believable. So you think Wilder can lure him out of an actual physical contract that he has to make a fight with you now, when he's been trying to fight you for God knows how long? It doesn't sound likely, because this is not a matter. Tyson Fury, we know, made this a lot harder, switching sides and fleeing to ESPN. Now you have another party who's a part of the decision-making process. A couple people, Top Rank and ESPN, in addition to Frank Warren. So you have that side, plus you have Fox, Showtime, and Al Heyman, and Shelly Finkel and Wilder. So this is not a simple thing as far as like Wilder can easily get out of a known trilogy by himself just because Joshua wants to intervene and throw this alleged curveball, because you're dealing with multiple networks. So it's more of a juggling act than just Wilder deciding, I know Wilder says he's his own boss, but there's other things at play here, like two networks, as I keep saying. So I don't know what this curveball is. I have no idea, but all I know is DAZN is failing miserably. DAZN fighters, in America, DAZN fighters are constantly bringing up fighters that they're not fighting next. and they can't seem to lure the biggest fights to that app. And this is what they're reduced to, talking about, having meetings and luring people out. Wilder had a meeting with DAZN. It seems like if he was going to go, I'm not in charge of Wilder's career. He's a grown man. But to me, it appears that if there were ever a point in time where he was going to go to DAZN, it seems to me that it would have been when he was offered the 3-fight deal or whatnot with DAZN for $100 million. Seeing how they fumbled, and John Skipper admits this, that they fumbled at the negotiations and they weren't transparent, and Wilder left the meeting and told the media, like, I'm betting on myself. I got people, I got a team, we trust us. They weren't transparent. They weren't telling me how much Joshua was set to make, and we don't like that. I think they thought we were like sluggish or, not astute, and we're not going to be played for fools. So they left the meeting, shook hands, and, went their own way. Fought Brazil on Showtime, took care of a mandatory. Dillian White is, on this rampage, trying to call out Wilder and belittle Wilder, berate Wilder, denigrate Wilder, make Wilder look like he's ducking for 800 days, when both Joshua, Eddie Hearns, Barry Hearns, Dillian White, the UK media, and Rematch Room all know Wilder is scheduled to fight Tyson Fury. How is he ducking for 800 days and he's scheduled to fight somebody else? Why are you even continuing to count at this point if you know he is scheduled to fight somebody else? Go on with your own career. The clout chasing is getting absolutely ridiculous. It's really getting bad. Dillian White's counting days like he don't know the deal. The WBC has already told him he will not fight. Watch, Dillian White, mandatory, Wilder, WBC. Watch, look how easy I pull this stuff up. Talk Sport, December 11th, 2019. It's a matter of typing. I type, at my best. It's different when you're this, but I type like 80 words a minute. Let's get it. Talk Sport, boxing news. WBC confirmed Dillian White will have to wait until 2021 for a mandatory shot at Wilder Tyson Fury winner, despite being cleared. The WBC have declared that Dillian White will have to wait until February 2021 for his mandatory world title shot after being cleared by UK. So this has been instructed. Dillian White, I made a video about this. Check it. It says the real reason Dillian White will not get a title shot this year, right? I just did the video. Unpacked. We unpack, coming to you live. So why is Dillian White continuing to? It's for sympathy or whatever weird UK game plan this is. Like, people are going to feel sorry and empathize. And why would you even count when the WBC has explicitly told this is a UK company, Talk Sport, right? A UK company that works with DAZN, has interviewed exclusively Dillian White, and they are telling you that, hey, we got the information, we heard it loud and clear. But how does Dillian White and Eddie Hearn in Rematch Room not know this? I know it. Obviously, UK media knows it, but they're playing the role. Oh, Wilder's the biggest WBC coward, world boxing coward, and he's waiting. The UK charade is over. In America, nobody believes it. Now you got this man, ANTHONYJOSHUA. This whole time, Wilder's been calling you out. Somehow you got in bed with Povetkin when in the midst of negotiating with Wilder when he agreed to fight in the UK. ESPN posted an article, and then days later they said, oh no, he took too long. He's fighting Povetkin or he's going to get stripped. And the Eddie Hearn and Joshua and Rematch Room has been absolutely disastrous with this. They're not going to fool me, because Joshua has now done recent interviews saying he's okay to be stripped of a title, right? Because he knows he can get it back. This is what Joshua has said. So if that is your thinking, how come in 2018, when Wilder was smoking you out, you weren't willing to lose your title to not fight Povetkin to have made the fight in September. Remember, they said the Wembley was booked, and they said they could. Actually, they said it's just so much. They said they couldn't fight because negotiations were taking too long. They said they couldn't fight in Wembley in September because Wilder and Shelly Finkel took too long. You know. Then they agreed, and then somehow you have to fight Povetkin, and you're like, oh, I have to fight him. He's my mandatory. But then now, Anthony Joshua is saying, I'm okay with losing a belt because I know I could get it back, and I'm not defined by belts. I mean, this crazy. It's crazy. It's the double talk. Joshua could be forced to look. Joshua, I'd hate to vacate a belt, but I know I could get it right back. If I do lose one, I know I'll be able to get it right back. Right? He could be forced. Your next two fights, you got a mandatory and a mandatory. AJ is not afraid to lose a belt, but the whole idea, this is well documented. So if he's not afraid to lose a belt now, for whatever reason, because he has too many mandatories, then how come when Deontay Wilder says to ESPN, Deontay Wilder agreed to go to the let's see if that brings it up. Boom. You see how I easily bring this stuff up? It's not at this point. This is the power of new media, people. It's all at my fingertips. We unpack, coming to you live. It's all in the hands. Deontay Wilder accepts terms to fight Joshua in the UK. June 11th, 2018. Heavyweight world title, Wilder has agreed to the terms offered by Joshua's camps. So these were bad terms that Wilder was expected to walk away from. And he was in the process of smoking Joshua out. And they had to find a way to stall out. We have agreed to the terms that Eddie has put out for us to fight in the UK. Deontay Wilder has accepted the terms to fight in the UK, Shelly Finkel said. Wilder sent an email to Joshua Sunday night. I sent one on Monday to Barry Hearn and Eddie Hearn. It's all right here. Telling them we officially accept the offer to fight under the terms they gave us and send us the contract. Like, let's get it. And then all of a sudden, Joshua was informed that he had to fight Povetkin by the WBA because a call was made. Joshua must fight Povetkin. I forget if it was 24 hours. They gave him some deadline. Here it is. And this is more UK media. So you guys know in the UK what I'm saying. Anthony Joshua ordered to fight Alexander Povetkin, must sign contract within 24 hours. So right when Wilder and Shelly Finkel did a public ESPN announcement and agreed to terms, and Dan Raphael wrote up an article, all of a sudden the WBA jumps in and says, nope, you must fight it. Look, today the WBA requested an answer from Joshua's team regarding his fight with mandatory challenger Povetkin. And there's the link. This is all traceable. We over here at New Media have a paper trail. So once again, this is why this was his excuse. Anthony Joshua ordered by WBA to sign the Povetkin fight. So right conveniently, when Wilder agrees to terms, Shelly Finkel puts out a public message. They said, send us the contract. Now all of a sudden, too little, too late. Bro, Joshua's team has done a horrible PR job with this whole situation. And then now, even though he was ordered to fight, and that's why we had to suffer through the Povetkin fight, which we knew the outcome, right? And nobody wanted to see that. That's why the tickets didn't sell out at Wembley. And then his next fight at Wembley got canceled. He was supposed to come back in Wembley at, I think, April or something, the following year, and they canceled it. And then randomly they switched it to Gerald Miller, and then he fails a drug test. It's just been going downhill since then. So once again, back to what I was saying, Joshua's clout chasing looks so horrible. It's like indescribable how horrible it looks. Now all of a sudden he wants to fight Wilder. Oh, okay. when you know he's tied up for 2 fights with Wilder involving 2 networks? Now you're somehow going to send this curveball, like, to the point where even if that was the case, why even publicize it? Once again, DAZN, Eddie Hearn, and DAZN promoters are starting to become more famous for potential fights and putting it out in the media rather than what they're actually accomplishing. Eddie Hearn will say, oh, I'd like Jesse Vargas versus Jaime Munguia. I want to see Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. I want Billy Joe Saunders versus Caleb Smith. I would like Demetrius Andrade versus Canelo. But none of these fights are happening. I want Wilder. I want Tevin versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I want Andrade. We send him massive money, $7 million, massive money to fight Andrade, for Charlo to fight Andrade on DAZN. It's not happening though. None of these fights. Oh, we want Luis Ortiz. He's afraid of Joshua. We sent him a $7 million. None of these fights, I repeat, none of these fights are happening that I just mentioned. Now you're going to somehow, when it's the most inopportune time, you're going to lure Wilder, who's not even worried about you. Your stock has dropped. You're not relevant in America. Now all of a sudden you're going to send him some massive curveball. Listen, Wilder holds all the cards. PBC holds all the cards, especially if he wins. And then on top of that, other little things have been extremely weak. Like Joshua offered to help spar Tyson Fury sparring, and then they went back. That was lame. Now they all of a sudden don't want to help each other and they're back enemies. That was a lame attempt. You got a double team to fight Wilder. It's just a bad look, people. It's a bad look. And Joshua was asked after the Andy Ruiz fight about fighting Wilder, and he says he's not chasing him, but you're clout chasing him. There's videos on YouTube where Joshua, after he won his belts back from Andy Ruiz, literally said, I am not chasing Deontay Wilder. So why are we seeing articles like I predicted, Ego Stradamus, where Joshua is mentioning it? Because all roads lead to Wilder. Wilder Fury 2 is the hottest fight, right? Anthony Joshua, look how easy I'm pulling this stuff. Not chasing Deontay Wilder. Look, boom. Anthony Joshua, I'm not going to chase Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua doesn't have to chase Wilder. Anthony Joshua, I won't chase Deontay Wilder. It's all here. So why are you talking about a Wilder fight that you don't have the power to secure? Wilder, if he beats Tyson Fury, he is absolutely the #1 heavyweight. Tyson Fury, if he beats Wilder, he's the #1 heavyweight. So they're going to be in the driver's seat. They're going to have the coveted green strap. And although they would only have 1 belt to Joshua's 3-4 belts with the IBO, ultimately that won't matter because in the fans' mind, that's the guy. You know, they're undefeated. So whoever wins will remain undefeated and there'll be a green belt WBC champion. So, man, this is just bad. It just goes to show you how tables turn, like I've been telling you. He says, difficult to unite them, said Joshua. We'll see what happens. Chasing that fight wasn't playing to my benefit, so I'm going to sit and let the path take its course. When the opportunity presents itself, it becomes the unified heavyweight champion, then I'll take it. But I'm not going to chase. Today's about celebrating victory, Hearn says. But fast forward to the future. Now it's all of a sudden we're sending him a massive offer. Josh, bro, Slave Room, they played it the wrong way. It's just what it is. Now Wilder has the power, or whoever wins Wilder Fury, they'll have all the power in the heavyweight division. And Joshua is just looking to remain relevant, and he has to do these things because no one's really interested in his next move. Not like Wilder's next move, not like Fury's next move. It's a bigger fight. We unpack. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.